Hello, Tyler Bryden here. Today I want to talk about a question I've been pondering, which has been through this journey of creating content, videos over a month or so. I've started to get some stats back, and I've done a little bit of review and analytics, so I'll hop up and show that in right now, and I'll scroll down so you can see. And through this journey, I've found out really two fascinating things, which is the importance of average view duration and then the average percentage viewed. And what I'm seeing here, what I would say just gently, is abysmal performance in that regards, specifically on YouTube. And what I'm then trying to do with this data, now actually having this data, which is always one step towards becoming better at anything, how can you make adjustments to improve these two metrics? And the reason these metrics are important is because if you are posting content specifically on YouTube, these are metrics that Google's using to measure how engaging your videos are, if they want to recommend these videos in search engines, if you are a good creator who's focused on creating content that's high quality, that helps users, either informs them, educates them, inspires them, whatever it actually is. And with all those metrics combined, then you can start to be shown in videos on the side there, in the search engine, in discovery mechanisms, and then allow you to grow your channel. And so for the last 28 days, I've been publishing a piece of basically a video a day, doing the best I can to do that. And then with this analysis of this data, starting to ask some of those questions, and some of those questions are coming directly from these stats. It's one of the main drivers of here, and it's actually, if I break down some of these videos here and start to look at the performance, it starts to become pretty clear to me. And one of them is, for example, is that there's a higher average percentage viewed when I generally focus on one topic. And so what you can see, I'll just pick out one example here quickly. Y Combinator, specifically a video around Y Combinator's performance. It's a warning letter that they shared, and people are typing in Y Combinator. A lot of this was discovered through search. Then that means that the average percentage view was much higher. So 23%, 3 minutes and 10, almost 3 times the average view duration on my channel there. And I can continue that with this idea of, Jack Harlow's rise here. This was a pretty, pretty big deep dive on Jack Harlow. If you're interested in that, if you're interested in sort of the comparison between that and a startup, you're more likely retain and spend time on this video. I'll contrast that with videos where I am actually doing things, maybe multiple topics at once, and then not necessarily doing high quality versions of that, and sort of drifting through or maneuvering through multiple topics throughout a video. And so in this case, the All-In Summit, only exceptional companies get investment, and now Inflection AI raises $225 million. What happened was there was not that many searches around the All-In Summit, which was the summit that David Sachs and Jason Calacanis and everyone did in Miami a few weeks ago. But all the searches that people were typing in that were being redirected to my video on that, and yet I was only addressing that content for a small fraction of that video, and not really doing it in a deep way that added more value, just sort of highlighting it that it was an event that was taking place. And so what I'm learning from that is if I stack a bunch of topics in a single video and then share that, maybe you're going to get people who are coming to your video and it's not delivering the value or the insight or the kind of content that they were looking for. And because of that, the average percentage view, the average view duration will then suffer. And for this case, it was only, a minute was still there, but it was a 12-minute video. And then it was only about 8.7%. So very low on that scale, even from, an average for myself, but then also an average overall. So like what I guess is a benchmark for average view percentage. So percentage viewed is around 30% is still low. People are actually aiming to get 70% plus, and that's someone watching, the entire basically the entire video. You can see drop downs of engagement and then where people start to drop off, and then people start to figure out where in videos that people leave and figure out ways to make content that then keeps that stickiness up. Just like you're creating products that are sticky when you're developing, software products, you need to have the same thing for the video content that you're doing. The other one is this average view duration, which generally we're seeing around 5 minutes on YouTube. But a lot of these videos are well crafted. They have video editing, they have graphics, they have, perfect high quality cameras. I'm still using like a Logitech HD 1080p camera to create these videos. And so better than nothing, better than another version of a webcam or a crappy phone or whatever. And I do have decent audio quality, although it ranges a little bit. But overall, there are people who are dedicating a lot of time, investment in their lives to creating these videos. And because of that, they're investing in graphics editing software, into research and producing outlines for the content. Whereas right now in the current iteration of what I'm doing, there is much more of a, okay, here's 3 topics that I want to talk about, or here's something that's trending. Let's talk about that. And really that has been done to create a consistent practice of producing content, which in, many ways has been a valuable part of my last 30 days, has taught me lessons, has helped me build relationships with people, and I think is moving me towards a goal of where I want to be and allowing me to accomplish and fulfill some of this creator part of me, that this part of me that feels the desire to create and a way to need. The question is, as a person who spent a lot of time in digital marketing, who is someone who I consider myself data-driven, also willing to admit, quality of something that I'm creating, if it's good or if it's bad, and also, hopefully with the humility of, maybe I'm not, that charismatic, that beautiful, those things that might just keep you sticky on a video at a default, that there's actually some work that would need to be done for me to be able to execute on those things to increase these stats and increase these metrics. And really the overall goal of this journey, late, but I believe there's still much time to go, is move towards creating this audience on YouTube, moving towards monetization at some point, using that to help create an income stream, and then also using it to understand audiences better and be able to build better products, be able to create better information, create better content. And so in the past, this was a path that wasn't encouraged, one that would be made fun of, one would be, but we've seen, enough over and over again that there are people who are doing this, and we think of these anomalies, these Mr. Beasts and things like that. That's not necessary. If you can replace, say you bring in 100K a year in income through these channels, you're actually objectively doing very well in that. And then with that audience, with that engagement, with that compounding effect, you can start to build a lot more. So I think there's a lot of things that I'm learning just from, a sort of 30-day test period to see what is taking place, and then doing a little bit better job on the titling, actually viewing these analytics, and then doing a post analysis over the last 28 days. And so one of those things that I see here is this fundamental question, one of them being, should you limit videos to one topic? And one of the reasons I think this is so important actually ties into this idea of sort of search engine optimization. And search engine optimization obviously takes place on YouTube, and then it takes place on Google. I post all these videos onto my website as well too, so there's a discovery mechanism there. And if I stack multiple topics together into one video, there is almost a conflict in what keywords are being ranked for. And sometimes these topics are really related. Other times they are pretty disparate. So for the example, the All-In Summit and then the Inflection AI investment, those are, of course, yes, they're related to this sort of software and venture capital market, but overall those are pretty disparate. And each one of those individually could be its own sort of video or own dedicated page on a YouTube channel, but then on a website. Because they are on the same piece, they end up on the same video on the same page, there is the chance or likelihood that the actual optimization of that for search engines will suffer, and YouTube, Google won't necessarily know what to promote, or if someone is looking for one of those topics, it can be jumbled up with the other kind of content, and you might not get the recommendation or the promotion in that regard. So I think if you are considering about creating video content, and as I'm looking through this now, one of the questions I'm asking myself is, should I just limit this to one topic? Maybe the videos are shorter. Maybe I don't need to aim for this sort of 10 to 15 minute range goal that I have. One of the reasons being is I want to fit on LinkedIn, so I have a 15-minute sort of scale, and maybe that's even a blocker for the way that I'm doing things. And then the other piece is maybe that's not even it. Maybe with one topic you can actually go a deeper dive into that topic, and that video still ends up being 10-15 minutes, but it's higher quality, it's a deeper dive instead of these sort of surface level coverings of some of the content pieces that I've done in the past. And so for example, today there's the Amazon stock split, really fascinating topic, but do I know enough about that to add value? Can I do a deep enough dive on that, especially if I stack that with 2 or 3 other topics? That's a question that I'm asking, and truthfully, I think the answer is no. I don't think you can do that. I think there are very smart people who are going deep on that with their knowledge, with their background, and creating true value. In the end, the content performance of this, once you start to optimize that, you start to have search engine performance. People start viewing the videos, but then if the actual content isn't high quality enough, it doesn't matter. People are going to churn off the video anyways. And so right now for myself, I'm doing this in one take. As you most likely can see, I'm sometimes struggle to make eye contact because I'm doing so much information processing at the moment. There's no graphics, there's no fancy transition, there's no intro, there's no outro. Really, I'm not summarizing the video before. There's so many things that I'm failing to do, which are sort of necessary cornerstones of creating high quality video, which would then increase the performance, also give a level of credibility. And I think if you have credibility in certain areas or niches or business or whatever it is, I think you have the ability to sort of just push through that. Like I'll watch a video of Ray Dalio doing, in crappy quality because I think his insights are so valuable. For myself, that credibility isn't there. I haven't, done enough things in this world to make that worthwhile, to be able to jump through those credibility hoops where it doesn't matter necessarily the quality of your content. People will still tune in, people will still listen. And again, it comes back to, I'm, about to turn 30-year-olds, balding, somewhat charismatic, but not fully. Those things together also decrease the retention, reduce the content. And I can say those things sort of poking fun at myself, but I can also say them confidently, looking at the analytics data, saying most likely you won't have made it this far in the video anyways. So there's sort of these pattern interrupts, there's graphics, there's editing, there's lots of things that can be done to make things more compelling to the eye, to increase the retention, to increase the average view duration, to increase the average percentage watched. Those are things that I need to figure out, especially if I'm actually, interested in achieving some of those goals. And I have been pretty transparent with a public goal setting piece. And one of them, even though they're lower on the priorities, includes these. And I think in today's world, there are so many things out there, but there is only one of you. And if you can figure out how to deliver you in the right way, package it right, there is a lot of power in that. So I'm spending a lot of time sort of thinking about this idea of like quantity of content, which I'm doing, once a day, 10 to 15 minutes, versus the quality. Should I just be aiming for one really good video per week? What is my dedication level? Do I actually want to spend time editing a video? People call it dread-editing. Personally, I hate editing video. I hate rendering it. I hate how long it takes. Things have changed and it's gotten much better than it used to be. But overall, there's still a lot of challenges there. And so this is a little bit of a reflective video on this. Should you do one topic, or should you do multiple topics videos? How does that change the kind of content that you have? Do you invest in equipment? Do you invest in software, editing, graphics to improve quality? How much of a commitment are you willing to make financially and time, especially with time being something that is so valuable? And truthfully, money being something that's so valuable. And then when you tie that all together, what is the impact on search engine performance of the video, and then helping you achieve the goals that you hope to achieve when you're creating this content, when you're dedicating this time. So that's it from me today. A little bit of pondering, a little bit of thought. I hope if you are interested in this stuff, it is somewhat worthwhile. I hope that one or two of you make it to the end of this video. And if you do, please like and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, shoot me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks again for checking this out. It's been Tyler Bryden. Bye-bye.